Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Harinama Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavanda ki jai, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, devotees, welcome to Bhagavatam class. So let me close some unwanted screens. Yes, Hare Krishna devotees, right now, including me, 4 devotees are there. So let me read the verses by sharing. Hare Krishna. Give me a minute, I will share the screen. And today's verses are 3rd canto, 12th chapter, verse number 53 to 57. So today we are completing this chapter 12. So basically the chapter 12 is all about creation of Kumaras and others, 4 Kumaras and others. Let me share the screen first. Yes, I hope the screen is visible. I am also audible sufficiently. Am I audible? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhu.
Thanks, Prabhu. So, and today's verses are 3rd canto, 12th chapter, 53 to 57. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nastaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki. Hare Krishna. Welcome to morning Bhagavatam class and Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 12th chapter, verse number 53 to 57. Tabhyam Rupa Vibhagabhyam Maitunam Samapadyate. Word to word meaning. Tabhyam, Tabhyam, of them, Rupa, form, Vibhagabhyam, thus being divided, Maitunam, sex relation, Samapadyata, perfectly executed. Translation by Srila Aishi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Excuse me. The two newly separated bodies united together in a sexual relationship. We'll move to the next sloka, 54. Yastu tatra punamso abhun manuha swayambhava swarat striyaschi shatarupakya mahishyasya mahatmanaha. Synonyms, word to word translation. Yeah, one who, two, but, tatra, there, puman, the male, saha, he, abud, became, manuhu, the father of mankind, swayambhuva, of the name Swayambhuva, Swarat, fully independent, Stri, the woman, Ya, one who, Asit, there was, Satarupa, of the name Satarupa, Akyaya, known as, Mahishi, the queen, Asya, of him, Mahatmanaha, the great soul. Translation. Out of them, the one who had the male form became known as Manu, named Swayambhuva, and the woman became known as Shatarupa, the queen of the great soul Manu. Next verse. Tada maituna dharmena prajaha yedyam babuvire tada. At that time, maituna, sex life, dharmena, according to regulative principles. Prajaha, generations, hey, certainly, yeham, increased, babuvire, took place. Translation. Thereafter, by sex indulgence, they gradually increased generations of population, one after another. Next verse. Sachapi saturupyayam panchapatyani ajijanat priyavruta utanupado trisha kanyascha bharata akutir devahutischa prasutir iti sattama. What to word meaning? Sa, he, Manu, cha, also api, in the due course, satarupyam, unto Satarupa, pancha, 5, apatyani, children, ajijana, begot, priyavrata, uttanupada, tishraha, 3 in number, kanyaha, daughters, cha, also, bharata, O son of Bharata, akuti, devahuti, cha, and prasuti, prasuti iti, thus, satama, O best of all. Translation: O son of Bharata, in due course of time, he Manu begot in Satarupa 5 children, 2 sons, Priyavrata and Uttanapada, and 3 daughters, Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti. Last verse of 12th chapter. Akutim Ruchaya Pradat Karmadaya tu Madhyamam Dakshiyadat Prasutim cha Yata Apuritam Jagat. What word meaning? Akutim, the daughter named Akuti, Ruchaye, unto the sage Ruchi, Pradat, handed over, Kardamya, unto the sage Kardama, tu, but, Madhyama, the middle one, Devahuti, Dakshaya, unto Daksha, Adat, handed over, Prasutim, the youngest daughter, Cha, also, Yataha, where from, Apuritam is fulfilled, Jagat, the whole world. Translation: the father Manu handed over his first daughter Akuti to the sage Ruchi, and middle daughter Devahuti to the sage Kardama, and the youngest Prasuti to Daksha. From them all the world filled with population. Purport: the history of the creation of the population of the universe is given here with Brahma is the original living creature in the universe, from whom were generated the Manu Swayambhava and his wife Satrupa. From Manu 2 sons and the 3 daughters were born, and from them all the population in different planets has sprung up until now. Therefore, Brahma is known as the grandfather of everyone, and the personality of Godhead, being the father of Brahma, is known as the great-grandfather of all living beings. This is confirmed in Bhagavad-Gita 11.31 as follows. Vayuryamo Agnir Varuna Shashankaha Prajapati Swam Prapitamasa Namo Namaste Astu Sahasra Kritavaha Punascha Bhuyo Api Namo Namastate. You are the Lord of Air, the Supreme Justice Yama, the Fire, and the Lord of Rains. You are the Moon, and you are the Great Grandfather. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you again and again. Here the 12th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, ends. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purport of 3rd canto, 12th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Creation of Kumaras and Others. Yes, Hare Krishna. Thanks for joining morning Bhagavatam class. And before getting into the meaning or discussion of today's verses, let us understand the scene where exactly we are now in the 3rd canto, 12th chapter, and 53rd verse to 57. So before getting into these verses, let me try to bring out some of the basis to go through these verses. And this is the chapter we all know. This is the 3rd canto we all know. This is the status quo. Status quo means what? Say government already established some guidelines and again coming and verifying. That means this creation and annihilation already happened. Once again, that is being discussed between 2 personalities, friend of Vyasadeva and Vidura. So who is a friend of Vyasadeva? Is friend of Vyasadeva is a, sorry, I'm not getting the name, sorry for that. And here the scene, the discussion between them is the creation of Kumaras and others. And the creation of Kumaras, before understanding the creation of Kumaras, the Brahmaji started creating the jivas. This is the job assigned to him, by the Supreme, Supreme Lord through Garbhodashayi Vishnu, who had come out from the lotus. And then the verse number 12.2 says, initially he created the jivas with this ignorance. That means I am independent, how in the material contamination we all. So in that, since Brahma also a jiva, and that particular position he was not a realized person. Then later on his tapasya of 1,000 years, he got that benediction from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then he created, according to the verse number 4, Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatana, Sanat Kumara. We all know that. And these 4 children refused to, obey the father's order to do this, creation, begetting children. Then he got angry, right? Then with that anger, according to 12.7, a child born with blue and red, named as Rudra, Lord Shiva. And there are 11 other names for Rudra, Lord Shiva. And then there are 11 wives for all these, 11 creation. And they started creating, the jivas in a more destructive way. So Lord Brahma felt, very sad about that. Then he told, Lord Shiva or a Rudra to stop this act, go to the forest and do tapasya, right? And then Brahma started creating other jivas. See, there are 2 ways of, creating a jiva. One is biologically, what, through sexual relationship. And another one is through Brahma's mind. So the first creation is through Brahma's mind, all, Sanaka, Sanatana, and Rudra, and all this. And also what we are going to read now. According to the verse 22, Marichi through mind, Atri through eyes, Angira through mouth, Pulastya through ears, and then Pulaha through navel, Kratu through hand, Brahu through touch, Vashista through breathing, Daksha through thumb, and most special, the 10th son, Narada, through deliberation. Through deliberation means what? Through debating. So that is one of the quality of our mind. Mind, debates ourselves. So through that quality of Brahma, Narada Muni came out. And we all know he is the 10th son. And then we should know other creation, sage Kardama. The sage Kardama is the incarnation, is the creation from Brahma's shadow, and who is husband of, great Devahuti. So mainly all the creations from body of the Brahma and mind of the Brahma. This is the way one should understand. Even in Christianity also, this concept, Adam and Eve, all these things. But only from Srimad Bhagavatam one can understand the perfect detail towards the creation. And then from the verse number 43, thereafter Brahma accepted another body. Somebody may think, how come the relationship would be, either it may come through father and daughter relationship or, brother and sister relationship. So here is the evidence, which is not like that. Thereafter, Brahma accepted another body. And before that, all his, children, through mind, those who have come, everybody gathered together and coming and asking Brahma, so how you have created us, see, this is illegitimate, kind of a question they are about to ask Brahma. Brahma could not tolerate or, found, see how bad, this kind of atmosphere for me. It's so emotionally, and he left that body and he took another body, right? And then he expanded into 2 to answer to his, children, through mind, was not then in the 49th verse, thereafter Brahma accepted another body in which sex life was not forbidden, and thus he engaged himself in the matter of further creation. Then I am jumping to verse 52. While he was thus absorbed in contemplation and was observing the supernatural power, two other forms were generated from his body. So from that new Brahma, two more jivas came out, right? I mean, basically Brahma divided into two. There are still celebrated as the body of Brahma. They are still celebrated as body of the Brahma. So one is the male form and another one is a female form. So that we are going to discuss for today's discussion. So let me start with Prana Mantras. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Taskunulitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Thabitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Gurum Sri Uttapada Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahana Raghunathantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahana Lalita Sri Vitakshakhan Chamcha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhasya Cha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschasya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Hare Krishna. So we understood, the present situation. Brahmaji expanded into two, and one is a male form and another one is a female form. And also it is declared that verse number 53, the translation says, the two newly separated bodies united together in a sexual relationship. Here the actual relationship starts. So far, whatever the creation being discussed, that is not through sexual relationship like this particular jiva, how we all. And we are moving to the next verse, translation 54. Out of them, the one who had the male form became known as the Manu. The male form we call it, mentioned as Manu and named as Swayambhuva Manu. There are so many Manus that the prominent and first Manu is Swayambhuva Manu. And the woman became known as Satarupa, right? The queen of the great soul Manu. And they both are the first biological creation. Thereafter, not exactly they both, and they both, created the biological population. And they both are separated. Swayambhuva Manu should be understood as if it is Brahmaji, and Satarupa is also a female. Both are considered as Brahma. This is the very intricacies of the creation. Thereafter, Thereafter, the verse number 55. Thereafter, by sex indulgence, they gradually increased generations of population one after another. So gradually, they generated the population for all the planets, not only a particular planet, in all the planet. Then in text number 56, O son of Bharata, in due course, so Maitreya Muni, initially I forget the name, Maitreya Muni and Vidura, this is a discussion. The son of Bharata, that means he is addressing Vidura. In due course of time, he, Manu, begot in Satarupa 5 children. So first children, biological children are 2 sons and 3 daughters. Who are those 2 sons? Priyavrata and Uttanapada. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, we have been hearing all these, wonderful personalities. And 3 daughters, Akuti, Devahuti, Prasuti. So they are the 3 children of Manu, Swayambhuva Manu. And for Satarupa. And the concluding verse is, the father Manu handed over his first daughter, Akuti, to the sage Ruchi. So these sages there are 9 prominent sages are there. We will discuss about that, how they all came from the mind of not through biological, through the mind, including, Shiva, Lord Shiva. Handed over his first daughter, Akuti, to the sage Ruchi, the middle daughter, Devahuti, to the sage Kardama, and the youngest Prasuti to Daksha. From them, all the world filled with population. So this is the origin of our biological creations. And in the purport, Prabhupada mentions the history of the creation of the population of the universe is given here with, we will read the purport at the end. Now from the verses, whatever we have discussed, and in that let us take some glimpse of it. Right? So I'll go to the youngest daughter first. Who is the youngest daughter? Youngest daughter's father, husband is Daksha. So in the verse number 57, Prasuti. So the Prasuti handed over to Daksha. And handed over means not simply by handing over, based on the Lakshana, based on the Hamsa. So they handed over to 9 prominent, rishis or sages. So basically there are 9 rishis, namely Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulastya, Pulaha, Kratu, Braghu, Vasishta, Atharva. So they are the 9 prominent sages. And apart from these 9 sages, Kardama Muni, right? Kardama Muni married a eldest daughter. So I'm going in a reverse order from the youngest daughter. So youngest daughter handed over to Daksha. What is the youngest daughter name is? Prasuti. Akuti, Devahuti, Prasuti. So the Prasuti is handed over to Daksha. So there are so many pastimes about Daksha. Basically, let us have a glimpse of these characters also. And Lord Shiva being the head of all mystic yogis. And we are reading about Daksha, the youngest daughter's husband. Never been constructed a home for his residence. There are so many pastimes, very few I am taking. Sati. Sati was the daughter of a great king Daksha. So now we are moving to the first generation, the third daughter's first understanding. Because his youngest daughter. So there are some elderly daughter is there for Daksha and Sati. Sati is the wife of Lord Shiva. Sati selected as her husband, Lord Shiva. King Daksha was not very much satisfied with her because he does not have even one house like that. Therefore, whenever she met her father, he unnecessarily criticized her husband, although Lord Shiva was faultless. Because of this, before attaining a mature age, Sati gave up the body given by her father. So she felt, so bad about, his father's comments. Then she left that body. And also there are so many other pastimes, with Lord Shiva, why she is leaving this body and taking, another body, Daksha, and therefore she could not produce a child, Sati. So this is according to 4.1.66. So all this, jivas being discussed in some other portions of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And one more understanding about the last daughter, Daksha, and Daksha's wife. Lord Shiva, being the son-in-law of Daksha, was expected to show his father-in-law respect by standing with the others. But because Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are the principal demigods, their positions are greater than Daksha's. Daksha, however, could not tolerate this, and he took it as an insult by his son-in-law. Previously, also, he was not very much satisfied with Lord Shiva. For Shiva looked very poor and was niggardly in dress. So this is the reason, son-in-law and father-in-law Daksha, and our focus is the mother-in-law. That is a third daughter. So Prasuti is the mother-in-law of Daksha, and Sati is a younger daughter of Daksha and Prasuti. So this is the one daughter, information. We had a small glimpse of it. Next, the middle daughter is Devahuti. The Devahuti given to sage Kardama. So let us understand about Kardama. So there are 9 prominent rishis we have discussed. All these rishis are most important, and Brahma decided that the 9 daughters already born of Kardama Muni be handed over to them. There are 9 daughters already born of Kardama Muni be handed over to them. Here 2 words are used very significantly: Yata Silam and Yata Ruchi. The daughters should be handed over to the respective rishis, not blindly. So Brahma is not giving these 3 daughters blindly, but according to the combination of character and taste. According to the combination of character with the taste, Brahmaji's, Manu's daughters being, handed over to the respective husband. So the middle daughter name is Devahuti. Devahuti is handed over to sage Kardama, and the details we have discussed. And the first daughter, Akuti. The first daughter is a Akuti. So here Akuti, let us understand more about Akuti. Say the sage Ruchi, who was very powerful in his Brahminical qualification. We are talking about the elder daughter's husband. Manu's elder daughter is Akuti's husband, who was very powerful in his Brahminical qualification and was appointed one of the progenitors of the living entities. The progenitors means the Prajapatis. So we call Prajapatis in a spiritual term. Prajapatis are the creation by Brahma for developing this jivas. So here the Ruchi, sage Ruchi, was very powerful in his Brahminical qualification and was appointed one of the progenitor of the living entities. Begot one son and one daughter by his wife Akuti. So here we understand 3 daughters married to whom, and 2 more personalities. So who are those male personalities born to Manu? So the first one is Priyavrata, and the second one is Uttanapada. So about Uttanapada, he married to 2 wives, and I'd like to share one slide. This is our Srimad Bhagavatam family tree. you might have come across that slide, but once again, I would like to share further details about these 5 children of Manu and also the origin. I will share the screen. Right, I hope the screen is visible, but I will try to maximize it. See, in the right hand corner, my arrow mark points out Swayambhuva Manu, wife name is Satarupa. If it is not clear, just please hear from me. And Swayambhuva Manu. So, simple introduction. Before Swayambhuva Manu, Lord Brahma, and then the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, this is the origin of the creation. Basically, for proper understanding, Lord Brahma born from Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, an expansion of Krishna. So, the Anadiradir Govinda is Krishna. Brahma himself, chanted this. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, then from Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, Lord Brahma. And today's verse pointing out is all about Swayambhuva Manu. And for Swayambhuva Manu, we read 3 daughters and 2 sons. The 2 sons are Priyavrata and Uttanapada. So let us discuss more about these 2 sons later. Now, whatever we discussed, I will try to relate here. I started with the 3rd, daughter. The 3rd daughter is named called Prasuti. The Prasuti, here it is mentioned, their lineage in the red color lines. The husband is Daksha. This Prasuti and Daksha both are father-in-law and mother-in-law of Lord Shiva. By marrying, by giving the youngest daughter Sati, the wife of Lord Shiva. Here my arrow mark is pointing. And for further glimpse of it, and Aditi, Diti, and Murti, and then Naranarayana. So in further Srimad Bhagavatam chapter, we will read more about that. So here at present, and also 12 other daughters of these couples, Daksha and Prasuti. She is the youngest daughter of Manu. And middle, the second daughter, Devahuti. Husband is Kardama. So here the understanding is the children of Devahuti is Lord Kapila. It is very prominent understanding from Srimad Bhagavatam. And then Anushya, husband of Katri. So it will again relate. It is like horizontal, vertical lineage. So we can relate in many places. And then Kala, the husband Marichi. So we will read further. So here the Devahuti and Kardama is so prominent for understanding Lord Kapila. And then the eldest daughter Akuti, husband of sage Ruchi. And their children is Dakshina and Yajna. So this Yajna is incarnation of Krishna. So this is the background of what we discussed in the 57th verse. And further, before the verses, I was telling about the Brahma's creation. The Brahma's creation through mind and through body. Through body is the discussion what we did. That is Swayambhuva Manu is through body. Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa. This is 2 different Brahma's body. And created by the next body of Brahma, not the original body. Why? Because all these children, starting from others, and then Pulastya, what is this? Angluru, and then Agastya, Lord Shiva, all this including Narada Muni, they all approach Lord Brahma, asking that how can you create a jivas with your own that daughterly relationship or motherly relationship. With doubtful they were asking, then Brahma quit that body. He took another body, and from that body expanded. There it is. This, procreation is not prohibited with sexual relationship, and all other these children, one through mind, so from the middle of the eyebrows, Lord Shiva, and thumb, from the thumb, there are 9 prominent sages also, I told, Daksha. So like that, everybody taking birth. And Atri, so this is another lineage, so they all came from, this. And here, this is about, through mind, and this is through biological. Yeah, 2 sons we will discuss. So let us discuss Uttanapada first. So Uttanapada married to 2 wives, Suruchi and Sunuti. The son name for Suruchi and Uttanapada is Uttama. And then the son for Uttanapada and Suniti is Durva. So we all know one of the very prominent, devotee, Durva. See, Durva being, refused to sit on the lap of Uttanapada. Then he approached Suniti. My dear mother, why it is being refused, me for sharing of kingdom as well as, sitting on my father's lap. Why only, the preference given to Uttama? So we know the fighting between Suruchi and Suniti. Then it is being advised by Suniti to Durva, you go to the forest and do penance. And then with the material intent, material gain, he started doing the penance. We know, we all do, Ekadasi Vrata, and there are so many japa and so many tapasya we all, do. But Durva in very young age, childhood, he started doing the penance, and then Lord appeared in front of him. And then from Durva being, reason for Vatsara and Utkala, wife, Saraswati. Okay. So the point is Uttanapada married Suruchi and Suniti. They are, Uttanapada is a biological son of Swayambhava Manu. So we know that lineage. Here it is mentioned in orange color, and then it goes like this. All these, parampara is, could be understood through our Srimad Bhagavatam. So then finally in that lineage from Uttanapada, it is 60 daughters ending, like this. And then 10,000 Aryavasas, and then 10,000 Svalashwas, sannyasis. They all are sannyasis. Then Daksha. So this is the lineage of this particular biological son, Uttanapada. So in this way one can understand. And this is very, very important, Priyavrata. So we can understand this Priyavrata. One daughter, married, Sukracharya, right? Sukracharya, and 13 sons. Out of 13 sons, 3 become sannyasis, and then 3 become Manus, another Manus. Manu's son is Priyavrata, and other Manus, 3. And 7 become rulers of 7 islands. So this is the Priyavrata. So first son of Swayambhava Manu. So in this lineage, what we have to understand here, Devyani, Yayati. So these all are, Bhagavatam characters. So some are familiar. So here, this lineage, as we know, horizontally and, vertically, it is being, shared. Bharata, then Jada Bharata, right? These are very prominent, characters in Srimad Bhagavatam. Many descendants. Then Maharaja Gaya, and 9 Yogendras, and 90 other sons. So this is the detail of the first son of Swayambhava Manu. And then Marichi, Kashyapa, right? So here, Diti, Aditi, other wives. So in this lineage, so I'd like to give the essence of that. And here after some descendants, right? From which origin? From the origin of this. Origin is Marichi and Kashipa, right? So in this origin, so Ramayana, Ramayana and Mahabharata I would like to relate here. So here Ramayana, as per Ramayana, Dasharatha. So before there is Dasharatha, there is some descendants, right? Lakshmana, Lord Ramachandra, and other sons, we all know. Wife of Lord Ramachandra is Sita, who is none other than, incarnation of Lord Krishna, and two children. It is very prominent in Srimad Bhagavatam and also the scripture separately, Ramayana, Lava, Kusha. So this is the beauty of, Srimad Bhagavatam. One can understand the lineage properly in this way. And then, so I'll go to this, Mahabharata. So when we think of Mahabharata, Atri and Soma, and then in this lineage, we can understand up to Shantanu, right? Here Shantanu, then Vichitra Virya, Bhishma, Chitrangada, right? From Shantanu. Then Pandu, then Dasharatha, then Vidura from Vichitra Virya. So Shantanu, Vichitra Virya, Pandu, Dhritarashtra, Vidura. And from Pandu we know Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva. Then again for Arjuna, Parikshit, Abhimanyu, three other sons. There are 5 sons. Parikshit, Abhimanyu, we can discuss more in Srimad Bhagavatam. And Nakula, 2 sons. Sahadeva, 2 sons. Bhima, 3 sons. And Yudhishthira, 2 sons. And then again for Parikshit, Janamejaya, and 3 other sons for Parikshit. So that is what in Kali Yuga. So we are, experiencing this Srimad Bhagavatam. That is in the end of, Dwapara Yuga. And 99 other sons, and for Dhritarashtra. So this opponent, character, Dhritarashtra, 99 other sons, 1 daughter, and Duryodhana. So this is the most prominent characters of this, lineage. So one can understand thoroughly by this. So one thing, what I would like to highlight here is, see, there are biological, generation and the creation through Brahma's, Swayambhu Manu's, the Brahma's mind is all, this prominent, 11 sages, and then the Swayambhu Manu and Satarupa. So these all are biological, relationship. From that, 2 male children is Priyavrata, Uttanapada, Akuti, and Prasuti, and then Devahuti. So this is the lineage of all this. So this is started from improper. Here it is mentioned others. So when Brahma in the conscious of what you can say, ignorant. So that time also he created some jivas. No use of that jivas, as like how we all are today. The lineage comes to you and me. We also could, relate from any of this lineage according to our mood, as we discussed. So the daughters not being handed over just like that. So that daughters being handed over what we have discussed here based on their, what you say, matching. The matching is like based on their guna, right? So the characteristics and the relevant, matching, not just like that handed over like that, right? So this is the essence of what we have discussed is the verse 57. The father Manu handed over his first daughter Akuti to sage Rishi, and the middle daughter Devahuti to sage Kardama, and the youngest Prasuti handed over to Daksha. From there, the creation started. The biological creation started. From the purport of 57th verse, the history of the creation of the population of the universe is here given here with Brahma is the original living creature in the universe, from whom were generated the Manu, Swayambhuva Manu, and his wife Satarupa. From Manu, 2 sons and 3 daughters were born, and from them all the population in different planets has sprung up until now. So in every planet, right? So this is the origin. Therefore, Brahma is known as the grandfather of everyone, and the personality of Godhead, being the father of Brahma, is known as the great grandfather of all living beings. This is confirmed in Bhagavad-Gita 11.31 as follows. So this 11.31 sloka says, "You are the Lord of air, the supreme justice Yama, the fire, and the Lord of rains. You are the moon, and you are the great grandfather. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you again and again." So this is the essence of today's discussion. So we have to understand. So Lord Krishna is the origin. From Lord Krishna, the entire generation started, and how it is started in various planets. Today we got the skeleton of what exactly it is being mentioned in the chart accordingly. So that is a chart of family tree of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we can also relate, based on our character and our lineage. So many times, people started asking, "Prabhupada, who are you?" Prabhupada don't want to disclose. So this is another level of understanding this spiritual knowledge. But according to Srimad Bhagavatam, this is our lineage, and here it starts with not only 4 Kumaras. The chapter name is 4 Kumaras. There are jivas created before 4 Kumaras, and then 4 Kumaras, and then Lord Shiva, and then through mind, thumb, all these 9 prominent rishis and sages, and then through biological expansion from another Brahma, Manu, and then Manu's wife, Satarupa, right? And then from them 2 boys and 3 girls. So through them the entire universe is filled with the population. So this is the conclusion of today's discussion. So thanks for the opportunity, thanks for joining, and thanks for listening patiently. If there is 1 or 2 questions we can take, otherwise we can wind up for the session. Hare Krishna. Is there any questions in the chat? In the chat, somebody request, Pallavi Mataji requested for, "Can you please share this picture?" Yes, I will, circulate in the group. I'll do that. So this picture will use Srimad Bhagavatam, that family order very clearly, and we can open, Srimad Bhagavatam where that could be, connected very easily. So thanks for joining. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam.
Dandavad Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, there is a question like,
Yes, Prabhu.
yeah, Prabhu, like there is a whenever we go to the temple, they ask the Gotra, what is your Gotra?
Okay.
It's a Vivasishta. So how do we understand that? That is a lineage, what you call a Prabhu, that which Bharatwaj Gotra, like that.
Yeah, it is related, what you are telling, it is very perfect. But this is all beyond, all this Gotra also, right? If the person coming under, devotee lineage, so there is no question of, astrology and, all these planetary positions. So that the devotee could be beyond all this. That mechanism is correct, what you are, trying to tell this, but our Shastra says, so you are directly connecting with, Krishna. There are so many lineage. The Gotra says, presently I am in this position, right? I am in Kali Yuga, Kali Shudra Sambhava. So it is so clear that in this Kali Yuga, all are, Shudras. From that level, my understanding, we, whatever the identity of my Gotra, I am born in, the so-called, Brahmanical family. I am born in this Gotra and I am born in this lineage. I am from, this lineage, that lineage. The moment the one comes to Krishna consciousness, we all coming under, our Prime Minister also mentions, Vasudeva Kutumba. So we all coming under the shelter of understanding. We all deviated from this. We are having identity of only, this first standard level of understanding in the name of Gotra, in the name of, this particular, parampara or something. But the moment we realize this, Krishna consciousness, then we are getting connected into this Vasudeva Kutumba. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, it's it's clear, Prabhu. But still, normally they ask the Gotras, now, Prabhu. Every time, wherever you go, even in the temple also, when they want to do some prayers, they ask, give your name, give your Gotra.
Yes, you are right.
That is.
No,
I'm
trying to tell the meaning of understanding Gotra. See, the Gotra, it is correct. This is the lineage of what we have discussed today. No doubt about it. The point is, whatever the birth identity one has got this, there are demonic, creations also there, and there are useless creations also there. But our aim is to bring everyone into Vasudeva Kudumba, the lineage of Krishna. From Krishna, Brahma, this. Anywhere, somehow one should connect. But in Kali Yuga, we all, deviated from Gotra, right? That Lakshana is not there. That Gotra is correct. But what are the qualities of that Gotra, we are not maintaining. Say my Prabhupada mentions, say my father is a surgeon, right? But I am not a surgeon. How can, this Gotra is, connected to me, correct? According to this Varna Ashrama Dharma. So the Gotra is correct, but are we following that Gotra, right? If it is, connected to Krishna in this lineage, authorized one. Is it clear, Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Very clear. Thank you. Dandra Pranam, Prabhu. Jai. Hare Krishna.
Thanks. Wonderful question. Thanks. Hare Krishna. So one or two questions, or we can wind up. So, Granthra.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Hare Krishna. Thanks for joining. Hare Krishna. So over to temple authorities. Thanks for joining you all. Hare Krishna. So we can wind up. Hare Krishna.